So it
We're
did work.
alive,
It did
yes.
unmute me automatically. That's good to know.
So we are ready. Hello, everyone. This is Ondrejs, Developer Relations Leader here at Kontent.ai. And with me, my colleague, another Ondrej, Developer Evangelist.
Colleague, that's what you went for.
Yeah, that's what I went for.
Nice.
So it's been a busy end of the year. You have been traveling even in January, I guess. How was the travels?
It was for NDC in London. It was a nice experience. I gotta say, I really like London. This at the start of the year, they added a lot of lights. It was really beautiful. The conference was fun. I didn't get to see any of the talks, but a lot of speakers were coming by our booth, and we had some interesting conversations. So it was a nice time in London. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess if you're speaking with the NDC, we have some plans to visit more of these, right?
Yes, we're gonna be at NDC Oslo at the end of May, I hope.
Yeah, it's like
23rd, something like that. Yeah, at the end of May. But that's not the only conference that we have in May. We're also going to be at Reactathon in San Francisco at the start of May. But we'll get to that in I think March or April's update.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the NDC and full of .NET 7, I guess.
I hope so. I hope that I'm going to get to a stage where I can finally do some .NET development.
Yeah, I just finished testing out our SDKs on .NET 7. Everything works as expected. So if you want to use the .NET 7 caching, you can just go ahead. We are not planning to target .NET 7 out of the box because it's compatible with .NET 6, and we are probably going to aim for the LTS support. So we will switch from 6 to 8.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. But you wrote a couple of articles, and we'll start with the A/B testing, right?
So yeah, that's the biggest one that I was working on for the past 2 months, I think, because that's something we had to do on our side. And the article contains, it's a pretty long one, fair warning. It contains everything from the content modeling through. Let me put the banner up there. I can't do two things at once. I'm sorry. So it contains everything from the content modeling perspective, from actually introducing what A/B tests are, how they can help improve the performance of your site. The article also contains all the code pieces of how the middleware works in Next.js. But of course, if you don't want to use Next.js, you want to use a different platform, you can still apply the same principles to it. But if you're using Next, then the full source code is in there. It contains the logic of how you divide the traffic and how you track which variant was shown in the visitor's cookies. And then it shows how to connect it to Google Optimize. Now, of course, Optimize is going to be sunset at the end of this year, but it's just one code piece that you can exchange with whatever system you wanna have for tracking the results. So really, everything is in there. But yeah, it's a bit of a longer task and a longer article.
Yeah, I always forget if I do something like that or if I test something like that to start the state. So then the people get the first variant and the second one and the first again. So this is really important. Be careful about that.
Yeah, cookies all handle that, so that should be fine in this case.
Cool. So that was the article. And we did together the video where you are starring. Can
exactly.
you tell me something about
so that's the content modeling thing. Let's just put the video in there. Oh no, not this way. This way. So we met in Seattle when we were there on the Jamstack trip. We met with Mike Wills. Mike is I don't remember his job title. Is it VP of Technology?
Yeah.
VP of Technology. I know that he changed them quite a few times. He's still a great expert. So we talked about content modeling and how he, how do you say that nicely? He failed at providing a good experience for editors on one of his large projects because he was thinking about it as a developer. And he shares his experience. He shares a lot of valuable tips how to not find yourself in the same traps, how not to think about the whole content modeling as a developer, and rather model the real world in the content types that you create. Very valuable experience, at least for me, and I hope that we were able to note all the important details in the video. So yeah, it's just a 13 minutes. So I think it could be interesting for anybody who thinks about content modeling in the eyes of a developer, because I was the same.
Yeah, and it's a good wrap up because you always see this kind of developer thinking on technical thinking when the people moving from the web-centric world to the headless or to the omnichannel, they don't really think about the objects. They think about just pages, and everything is a page, which is not an ideal solution to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of CMSs actually try to give you the same idea. They try to improve the web-centric way of building content, but that's not what's gonna help you in the long run. Yeah, that's in 5-10 years when you want to add different channels or when you want to add a different front end, you're gonna be still solving the same things: migrations, and unstructured content, all of these things. Yeah, so. Yeah, doing the content modeling part right is really essential for any larger projects, and
yeah, I completely understand his problems. I was just listening the video when we were recording it. All of the things that he said, like, yeah, I did there, been there. But unfortunately, he made it for the bigger projects. I do it for my, let's say, testing purposes.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't really. I can try and risk and fail.
But the important thing is to learn, you know.
True.
And I feel like this is the kind of thing that you have to experience on your own. And you have to fail to make it actually better. But let's move on to the next thing.
Yes.
So the next thing is the article for Matt.
Yes.
Am I right? So the internationalization, localization, and translation. In this article, Matt pretty much wraps up what these terms mean and why is it important. Because since he's started his own consultancy, he's been part of a bunch of large projects where multiple agencies are part of, and these terms, it's actually important to know what each of these mean, because they each happen in a different stage of a project. So you can save some time communicating if you really know what these things are about. It's not that long article, and it definitely clears up how these terms are used and how they should be used.
Yeah, that's definitely great that you have this glossary, because sometimes people are switching internationalization and localization and translations altogether. They are meaning something else. So this is important to clearly define what's what. In the developer relations team, we are currently focusing on the translation story. So there will be some new tutorial. There will be a new tutorial on the documentation portal soon. So this is one part which is much more important for let's say content editors, because they want to see your content translated.
Right.
And then the presentation from the marketers, from the localization point of view, to see the nice formats of the dates, nice writing, nice typography based on the locale you're on.
Speaking of which, I think that we have a one item on the list about time zones.
Yes.
So,
but I think maybe we can just switch on it.
We can switch there. Yeah. Sure, no problem. So let's do it. Fetch time zone information. That's a .NET thing, isn't it?
It's basically both. We started releasing the support for .NET in JavaScript. In JavaScript, it was pretty easy because in the TypeScript models, out of the box, we have already wrapped the date time. So we just added a new property there, which is a time zone. It's a string. We didn't use the, let's say, more complicated structured time zone that you're using. It's just a string which is much more efficient if you need to do some transformation of the dates and these kind of things. So it was there out of the box. In .NET, it's already there. The only thing that you need to do for now, I will probably just showcase it, is to create and I lost it, so just need to find it again. There you go. So if you're extending the datetime element, we have the customization options with the partial classes. So you just create your property with the type datetime content is containing this property. We are going to introduce this property out of the box in the model generator. Unfortunately, it would be a breaking change. So we decided to go non-breaking change way, which took a little bit longer. So there will be an argument, which out of the box will be turned off. So every datetime will be just the datetime from .NET. But if you turn it on, you will get this structured property with the datetime, because sometimes from the start of the project you don't need the time zone, and then you are iteratively changing. So.
And speaking of the time zone strings, are those standardized, or what is the format of those?
Yes, they are standardized. The link for the standard, because I have no idea the name, is in the documentation. It's a definite list of the time zones. There are time zones split by the slash.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like the Americas, New York, and because that's the kind of thing that, for example, in our Next.js project, we're using date.js for handling dates, and these strings, I still don't know how they do it, but the date.js understands these strings. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good, because right now we have an extra field for it. So this would actually help us get rid of that. And I assume that the time zone is based on whatever the editor chooses in the CMS, right?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. One less thing to worry about. And the next thing is the multiple delivery clients in .NET, right?
Yes, let's stick with
let's
the .NET
talk
itself.
about that. Yeah.
So there was a problem with the multiple delivery clients. So you either have one delivery client to one project, but with a different configuration. For example, one for preview and one for the production, or the different clients, one with caching, one without caching. Up until now, you needed the dependency for autofuck. And there was a problem if you had targeted multiple projects, not a single project with a different configuration. There was a problem that leads up to some dependency problems. Currently, it's fairly standardized. We cut out the autofuck dependency, and we just went by the standard factory pattern.
It's a nice name,
yes.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
But I gotta say, like, we had the same problem in our project. We also needed multiple, because when we were building stuff, we had to use the preview and a normal client. And I kind of took a singleton pattern, extended it so it has 2 instances. So this definitely simplifies things. So I like that.
Yeah, it was still possible to register multiple clients on your own, but we just provided this pattern so that you can load the data, for example, from the secure JSON and these kind of things.
Okay, cool. Now the next thing, we're going back to JavaScript, I think.
Yes.
Or do you want to go for the dynamic data for delivery API?
Yes, I just want to promote my my pet projects. And,
of course you do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch to that. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the banner up here, and let's show the screen.
Yeah, let's.
Cool.
Yeah, on Fridays, as if you don't know, we have the Use Your Friday Well initiative, so that you can, let's say, research and try to extend the functionalities on our own. Basically explore, try to make new things. So I found out that sometimes if I need to quickly test out the .NET, you need to instantiate the delivery client, then you need to register the model generator, then you need to generate the models, you need to configure the type provider. For now, it takes me like 15 minutes to set it up.
Yeah.
From scratch, so even with the boilerplating and these kind of things. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I just want to, let's say,
just
do the .NET new, .NET add.
Of course, yeah.
Keep me up and running. So I created this package that extends the delivery client. So you just instantiate the client, and then you use the response extension methods, like get element value with generics. So this is basically it. It's version 0.4. So there is no support for rich text yet, but you can basically get the multiple choice option on taxonomy terms out of the box, and you don't need to go through the dynamic JSON, these kind of things. Basically the extension methods will take care of it. Yeah, and I was playing with the tests as well, so it should be fairly covered.
Nice. So again, include the link to that down in the video description when we get to it, of course. And the last thing we have on our list, we're just crossing the 15 minutes mark, so we should make this quicker. So the next thing, or the last thing, is the Gatsby v5 that is now supported.
Yes. So there are multiple things in Gatsby v5. One of the biggest features is a slice API. So you can get one piece of information that is reused on the multiple places. For example, here as our showcase, you have author of the blog site or whatever. You define it as the footer. Then you register it in the create pages by using actions create slice. And then this component is not refetching data for every single use when you're building the site. So this is just a showcase, nothing really special, just loading the name of the author. But if you have, for example, the footer on a couple of thousands pages, and it can make a difference.
It'd be interesting, yeah. And tell me, like I noticed that Gatsby is now promoting storage that is called Valhalla. And I noticed that there are also mentions in our repository. What is that about?
Yeah, the Valhalla, or Content Hub, as they call it, it's the initiative to basically unify all the data sources into one single scheme. So you will be able to interoperably load the data in the same scheme from the different sources. Yeah, it's still in beta. We are currently working with Gatsby guys to get to the demo, try to work on the compatibility. But once we have something out, we will definitely tell you over the DevRel news.
So that means that if someone is using Contentful right now, they could switch to Kontent.ai without too much of a hassle?
Yeah. There is already in the home starters out from Gatsby, which are interoperable on the application level. They want to make it a little bit more into the framework itself. But if you want to take a look to the home starters, it's gatsby.js.com/starters, and you can basically switch in between the resources or combine them all together by using the code in the home starters itself. Cool.
Okay, and I think that wraps up today's update. So it's been a very long one. Maybe we should do these more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There is also one last note from me. The Developer Nation survey is still going on for another week. We'll again include the link down in the video description. If you want to let us know what technologies you use and what you like, please use that link. We'll send you a t-shirt or something that you like. Let us know on Discord. The Discord link is also in the video description. If you're not there, make sure to subscribe and log into that server, because the whole Content.ai community is there. And we'll see you again in March.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.